So how would you cope in a lesson which is delivered entirely in a language that you don't know yet? Well, remember that when you were little and tiny and you were learning English as a native speaker, you didn't have another language to refer to. You learned English through English and through what was going on around you and the experiences you were in and by communicating with people. And what I'm trying to do is to replicate that as closely as possible, and it's not the same thing, but as closely as possible within the limits of a classroom, so that you can learn French or Spanish in the same way. Well, the first thing you need to do is to listen. The second thing you need to do is to watch. And the third thing you need to do is to copy and to join in. So let's take those one by one. First of all, there will always be something to listen to. Now, I want you to take the whole sentence as a whole and not get too hung up on the individual words. Because in a sentence of about 12 words, you may only understand 6 or 7 or 8 words. But that's not a problem, because real life is like that. And even now, sometimes the odd word will slip past me when I'm listening to someone speaking French or Spanish. But you can use the words that you do understand in order to try and work out the words you don't understand. And as you make progress, you'll get better at that. And learning languages is all about one big guessing game. Now, there may be a key word in the sentence which, if you don't understand it, the whole thing breaks down. So supposing it was a word like enlace in Spanish or lien in French. Well, if you don't understand it, the whole thing could collapse. So I use a different technique. I might use a word which is genuinely French or genuinely Spanish, but sounds a little bit like an English word. So for enlace, I might use conexión. And for lien in French, I might use connexion. So with connexion or connexion, you can work out that it means connection, because it sounds very much like an English word. So there will be lots of words like that at the beginning. And as you make progress, I'll use fewer words like that and more words which are authentically either French or Spanish. So the first thing then is you need to listen. The second thing you need to do is to watch, because there will always be something to see. Now, it may be an expression on my face, it may be something I'm doing with my hands as some sort of action, or it could be something I'm holding up. It could be a prop, it could be a picture, or it might be something you see on the screen behind me. It could be a whole word, a part of a word, a whole picture, or a part of a picture, and the idea is to support what you're hearing. And if you put the two together, very often you'll be able to work that out. You'll notice that very, very often in almost every lesson, I'll be getting you to guess a picture. So you'll see a little bit of a picture, you'll hear a little bit of a description, see a little bit more of the picture, hear a bit more of the description. And what I want you to do is to try and puzzle out what I'm talking about and what I'm referring to, rather than me just giving it to you on a plate, which is far too easy. I want to make you think, because when you're speaking in French or Spanish to someone who doesn't speak English, well, you'll need to think things through, and to be able to find the words that you've learned before and make some guesses. So you need to listen and you need to watch. And then thirdly, you need to copy, you need to join in. And by that I mean that very often you'll notice that we do some actions, and that may be very strange for you. You may not have done that before, but I want you to do it for reasons I'll tell you about in a moment. But it's very important that you do. It's very good for your memory. And for some people it's a very important memory tool that they use. So when we're doing actions, everybody in the class needs to take part, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you learn just because you've associated an action with a word. Now, if after all of those things, after you've listened and you've watched and you've joined in, if even then you still don't understand what's going on, don't worry about it. Just let it go straight over your head, and the next thing that you hear, you'll probably get it. Okay? So, finally, one last thing. You'll notice that as we go along, all over the walls behind me, you'll notice little cards go up. I call them bubble cards or cloud cards because they're cut into that shape, and they have all sorts of expressions that we're going to use to keep the communication going in the foreign language. Now, I've tried to anticipate what sorts of things you're likely to want to say, and I've got my visuals ready, and at the right moment they'll go slap straight onto the wall, and then we'll join in together with saying those things, usually accompanied by an action. There's a symbol there also to help you to remember it. Now, if you join in with those things and you try and use those phrases as well and those expressions, you'll find that more and more and more you will be able to join in French or Spanish, depending on the language we're studying, without needing to ask me how you say it in that language. You'll remember it. And then you'll notice as you go into year 8 and year 9, year 10, year 11, also that you'll be able to use those expressions in your own speaking and written work, and you'll be able to adapt parts of the sentence. That's the way that we're going to learn grammar. You're going to learn it through understanding and using phrases and expressions, noticing which are the key features in those sentences, and then you'll start to see how you can adapt them, how you can change bits of the sentence, parts of the word, in order to communicate what it is you want to say.